Hello, 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 everybody. Let me show my lower third, make sure everything's copacetic. Yes, 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 yes. And hopefully my headphones don't crap out in an inopportune moment. I have my base for my Ultimate Ears um wireless headphones charging right now, but I realized the little yellow light was on telling me like, hey, you might want to charge us. Anyway, welcome, welcome, welcome to the live stream. And I am in the background trying to make my little intro video, but I have found after a little bit of experimentation, coming on here, hopping on here and saying like what the live stream is about tonight. And then going into the intro video has helped with the audio. So that's what I'm going to do. And that's what I'm going to try to do from now on. But yeah, let me finish making it as we speak. But spoiler alert, we don't have a specific topic for tonight's episode. Let me make sure I download this correctly. Okay. Yeah, so we don't have a specific topic for tonight's episode, but as you all know, I do this live streaming weekly show every Friday night at 6:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, rain, shine, whether I have a topic in mind or not. So we will still do all of the mainstays of the show. We will do the astro-weather from Teresa Reed's wonderful AstroBiz Digest. We will do the mid-episode reading. We will do the weekend forecast. And in between all of that, I might answer some of your general questions about the tarot, mystical shit, love, light, toxic positivity, whatever it is that you guys want to know about tonight, and maybe pull a couple of cards too. Again, the mid-episode reading is not a guarantee that you will get read tonight, but it is an opportunity to get a 3-card reading from me live on the air. So if that sounds good to everybody, let me know, and I'm going to make sure that this downloads correctly before we move into my fancy schmancy intro video. And my phone is blowing up right now from guess who? My mother. Because it wouldn't be a live streamed episode without her interrupting in some way, shape, or form, even though she knows that this is my weekly pattern. This is what I do every week on Friday nights, and yet she continues. At least she's not calling the live. At least she's not calling the landline and interrupting. As some of you know, that has occurred in past episodes where I've literally had to grab the ringing phone. Otherwise, she was probably likely to leave a long audio message, which all of you would hear. So at least she stopped doing that. And instead, she's just blowing up my text messages, which you guys can't hear because my phone is constantly on silent. And yeah. Anyway, downloading. And earlier today, when I scheduled the episode, for some reason I was transposing my numbers and I kept on saying it was just like 2-3-23 instead of 3-3-23. I don't know why. Great. So Katie is here. Hello, Katie. And I'm watching on both the Book of Face and the Tube of You. Looking good on both. Sound is perfect on the Tube of You. Fantastic. Well, hopefully that remains when I share the intro video. Thank you, Katie. Katie is doing our tech checks. Sounds good on the Book of Face too. Tech checks. 1, 2. Testing. Even though my microphone is out of sight, it's right over this side. Out of the way. All right. Let me upload. Okay, that is not the name of it, but I forgot to change the name, so it's fine. It's fine. It's all good. It's fine. Everything is fine. Like the dog in the meme with the fire around him. Everything is fine. All right. It's fine. It's fine. Everything is fine. All right. So yeah, welcome tonight to the live stream. Introductions are in order. I am Hillary, professional tarot reader and EFT tapping practitioner, demystifying the mystical and putting you in touch with the most beautiful of gifts, your own intuition. Because yes, my friends, don't argue with me. You have intuition. This is one of my firmly held, long held beliefs that everyone has intuition. And like a muscle, you don't, if you don't use it, you lose it, even though intuition really can't be lost. But it gets much easier to use and to access if you use your intuition and build it like a muscle, like any other muscle in the body. Like, I got a very flabby core going on right now because I haven't been doing any core exercises, but my intuition is sharp because I use my intuition every single day. And you can totally be as sharp as me with your intuition if you choose to exercise that muscle. Anyway, welcome to the live stream. We do this, like I was saying before the video intro, we do this every Friday night, 6:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time on the Book of Face and the Tube of You. So wherever you're tuning in from is completely fine and awesome and wonderful. And even if you're not tuning in live, I'm sure that there was a reason for the season and a reason why you were drawn to my particular video or my channel or some of the things that I might be saying tonight. Just because you're not here live, just because it might be 3 years in the future that you're seeing this particular video when we're, cruising around on hoverboards or flying cars. Maybe I'm putting a little bit too much faith in 3 years from now. If there is a message that you hear on this particular broadcast or show that resonates for you, take it to heart. Take what works for you and leave the rest. That is also one of my firmly held beliefs. So, like I was saying a little bit before the intro video, what we usually do in these live streams is we start off with a little bit of astrology, then I teach something in the middle, then we also have the mid-episode reading in which you could be eligible to win, and we will be using one of the new features of Be Live. It is which is my third-party broadcasting app, which is a lottery jar, which is now in beta. It's one of the widgets and it's in beta, and we used it last week to great success. And so we don't need to look outside of my broadcast studio. We can just use the lottery jar in order to do the mid-episode reading and select a person for the mid-episode reading. So now that we've tested that out and we know how it works, we can use it successfully in this episode for the mid-episode reading and future episodes. So speaking of that, let me pull up one of the other widgets that they have here, which is the comment snake. And also at this time in the broadcast, I would say follow me, subscribe, hit the button, get notifications, like this video, leave a comment, do your thing, and let me know that these videos are finding the right people, my right people. So that I know that this aspect of my business is working. All right. And then after the mid-episode reading, we will end the episode with the weekend forecast, which is when I pull either a tarot card or an oracle card to give you the forecast for the weekend so you can enter into the weekend prepared and not scared. So if that sounds good to everybody, let me know in the chat. We do have a few viewers in here that are regulars. I know that Katie was doing my checks and likely laughing at my reference to the meme of the dog with the fire around him. Everything is fine, fine, everything is fine. And if you want to book a reading with me, you can do so at tarotbyhillary.com. Okay. I'm going to open up my soda, which I just got at the grocery store. Today was therapy day. Yay. Last week was rough because I didn't have therapy last week. I took a week off because I think my therapist was like traveling. And of course, I had a situation last week where I was just like, damn it. Like, I really wish I had my therapy appointment this week because I have a lot to talk about and I have a lot to process. So I was able to get all of the things that I needed to processed today. And it was actually a very food-centric therapy session where we like talked a lot about food, different foods that we like, different restaurants that we liked. So that was fun, but it also made me like incredibly hungry. And then I went to the grocery store and picked up a few things, and that was like the worst time to go to a grocery store or food store or restaurant when you're already hungry. Like, big mistake, big mistake. But I ended up getting another can of the poppy stuff. I think I mentioned this before on the broadcast, where it's like prebiotic soda. And it was basically created by a person that realized that like apple cider vinegar, like drinking apple cider vinegar was like really helpful for her, but she like just didn't like the taste. So she experimented in her kitchen to like add flavors that were like low sugar, no sugar, to enhance the taste of the apple cider apple cider vinegar so that she could actually drink it on a more regular basis. And thus her company was born. So this is poppy, and I've been trying out the different flavors. And this is one that I haven't tried yet. It's cherry limeade. So let's see if I actually like this, enjoy it. It's not that bad, actually. All right. And I also, of course, have my trusty water behind me too. So it has a little bit of an aftertaste, but it's not a bad aftertaste. It has like a little bit of like the lime tartness on the back end. It's actually quite nice. Okay, so in case I'm burping during the broadcast, that's a good thing. And I'm also going to blame that prebiotic soda. Better out than in, as Shrek says, right? All right, let's start with the astro-weather. And by the way, again, tonight's live stream, it's completely a live stream. It's a general live stream. I have no specific topic in mind that I'm talking about. Yeah, you can feel free to ask me questions in the chat of a general nature. We'll still do the mid-episode reading. And also wanted to let you guys know that my newest episode of the Tarot by Hillary podcast was produced this afternoon. Actually, I think I hit the post button or the publish button around like 3:33 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. There was no rhyme or reason for that. It was just simply I hadn't produced it ahead of time, so I ended up doing a lot of the editing today. And it was actually the call-in show that I did yesterday over Zoom. So it was kind of like a mailbag episode. I got a lot of different questions. So I think I answered 2 main questions in that episode. I answered about court cards and why the hell are court cards so difficult. And I gave as a reference two of this here live stream workshops that we've done in the past from like 3 years ago, I think, where we talked about court cards. And that was a 2-part episode. All about court cards was the name of the episode. We did part 1 and we did part 2 because it was a lot to cover in one episode. So we did a 2-parter. So I referenced that. And then the other question I got was, what do you do when you get heavy readings at an event? So very interesting questions, and hopefully interesting answers for you guys too. So it is a longer episode. I think it's about 47 minutes in length. Certainly not the marathon episode that the last podcast episode was, which was about the in-depth way that I do, or the in-depth how-to of filming my card of the day, or is this message coming up in your feed? If so, this message might be for you. Videos that I do across my social media channels. So that was a longer episode, and that was also a video episode too that I did post on the Tube of You. So you might want to check that out, and be sure to subscribe to my channel to be updated for when I do episodes like that, video episodes like that, and also when I add tapping videos too. And I'm also always looking for requests for tapping videos, EFT tapping videos, and what you want me to tap on. Okay, that being said, let us get into the AstroBiz Digest. And where's my referrals? Yes. Push to staging. Ooh. I didn't realize I had such great shortcuts on the keyboard. That's another update to Be Live that I didn't realize. But anyway, we're going to do the AstroBiz Digest from Teresa Reed. This is a subscription that she offers, and it's $99 for the year for astrology in layman's terms, straight to your inbox. It's a really great price. It's a really great service. And it is geared towards entrepreneurs and business owners, but I have found it very helpful in planning my own personal life too. So let me switch some things around. There we go. All right. So a lot of stuff going on this week of a deeper nature, because I think especially in the last 24 hours, because I think Mercury went into Pisces yesterday. So let me pull that up and let you know about that. But I definitely felt it. Okay. The biggest happenings for March for astrology are next week, but that doesn't mean things are dull around here until then. Get ready for more waterworks when Mercury swims into Pisces on the 2nd. So that was yesterday. The public is tender for the weeks the trickster planet transits this watery sign, so you'll want to be mindful of how your words may land. Whether dealing with clients directly or popping out emails, be careful of what feathers you ruffle. The kinder you are, the better. This transit also elevates creative thinking. Ideas are abundant for the next few weeks. Let your muses do their thing, and you can make exciting new content. It also comes in handy for marketing. The more imaginative you are, the more likely the public will eat it up. And Mercury sails into Aries on the 19th of March. So that's the big transit that we have going on this week. And that just happened yesterday. So, oh, and Jenny is here. Hello, Jenny. Welcome. Just was talking about Mercury and Pisces. That happened yesterday. Okay. So Friday, today, March 3rd, the moon enters Leo at 10:16 a.m. Eastern Standard Time, which means it's time to put on a show. The next 3 days are ideal for PR blitzes, public speaking, bold presentations, and pitching the media. Be seen and you'll see green. Yeah, baby. Focus on healing work when Venus aligns with Chiron at 12:48 p.m. Use this vibe over the weekend to help clients sort through problems. Some profound breakthroughs are possible. So today, Friday, is a power day for Leo and a weekday for Aquarius. All right, let me pause. All right, let's get into the weekend. Saturday is mega awesome for PR campaigns and visibility, especially when the moon trines Jupiter at 11:56 a.m. Be sure to get your fine self out there at this time. The moon moves into a trine with a Venus Chiron conjunction at 5:28 p.m., which could be excellent for creative work, but the moon squares Uranus at 5:54 p.m., adding an unpredictable edge to the evening. My advice, be very careful about which wounds you decide to reopen. Drama could ensue. Sunday is clearer than a quartz crystal, superb for PR and presentations. It's also dope for creativity or play. At 10:38 p.m., the moon will be in efficient Virgo, your cue to shut down and tidy up. Monday will be yours for productivity. Both days, Saturday and Sunday, are power days for Leo and weekdays for Aquarius. So actually, all 3 days from Friday, Saturday, and Sunday are power days for Leo and weekdays for Aquarius. So my Leo friends out there, like roar, roar, baby, roar. My Aquarius friends, you may want to tread lightly this weekend, starting today and into the weekend. So at this time, I want to open up the floor for any questions that you may have about the astrology from the past week. And I will briefly take a look at those days and let you know if there was any reason for the season. Like, for example, if it's just like Tuesday, I don't know what was happening. Everyone had a bug crawled up their butts. I have no idea why. Can you tell me if Teresa had anything to say about that on the Tuesday? And I will take a look for you. So I will open up the floor for that. And Veronica is here. It me, roar. All right, we got a Leo in the house. Also, my bestie is a Leo, and my fellow co-host of the Card Slingers Coast podcast, Jamie, is a Leo. That's part of the reason why we have such an energy in our podcast with the three of us, because Melissa is a Sagittarius, I'm an Aries, and Jamie is a Leo. So it's a lot of fire energy, and you can also see how that fire energy changes between cardinal, muted, and fixed signs. By the way, I think you'll all be very excited about the upcoming Card Slingers Coast to Coast episode that drops next Friday. I think we did a listener question from the mailbag. We're still catching up from questions that were given to us at the start of the podcast, and that's over 3 years ago. So like, thank you for having patience with us. But also sometimes we get emails in the mailbag that are very similar to each other. So we try and do an amalgamation of that question to try and like answer as many questions as possible within one podcast episode. So if like a question is the same or similar, we'll try and address it in one episode. Katie says, another Leo. Maybe it's why I have energy to get tasks done today. Maybe. So does anyone have any questions about the rest of the week, or are we all good here? Because I got time. We don't have a specific topic in mind that I'm teaching tonight. So like, was Monday a little bit funky? Was Thursday? Like last night was very interesting, and I think it was because of Mercury in Pisces, because the Mercury in Pisces happened at 5:52 p.m. and I ended up doing a live stream over on the gram of Insta last night, just on the spur of the moment, around like I think 7 to 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, and there was a lot of like intuitive energy going on at that time. So I was wondering, like, why that was the case. It's just like, why do I feel like jumping on here and doing some readings? And then I realized, oh, it's because Mercury was in Pisces. Okay, that makes sense. I also have to remember what my natal Mercury is. My natal Mercury might be in Aquarius. I'm not sure. I can always look it up though. There's some of my natal chart that I don't remember off of the bat. And if you hear the gurgling, I'm blaming the prebiotic soda. It's doing its job. I'm going to look up and see where my Mercury is natally. Oh, Jenny's saying, darn, I missed it. It's okay, Jenny. There's always going to be more opportunities for different live streams and different getting read opportunities besides booking a reading. Like, I mean, you're always welcome to book a reading with me one-on-one at tarotbyhillary.com. But I do enjoy doing live streams and pulling cards for people, and then just putting my virtual tip jar out there and, allowing people to thank me monetarily if they're able to. Again, it's never expected, but it's always appreciated. So I did, I think I did 2 readings last night. So Katie says, I spent the whole week moving the same set of tasks from Monday to Friday. Each day maybe would get one done, one would get done, or 2 part done. Could not get a grip on last week. No specific day. It was all a miss. All right. Let's take a look. You might be also feeling the energy of the upcoming transits that are going to be coming up this week, because Teresa did say in her email, March kicks off this week. The biggest happenings are next week, but that doesn't mean things are dull around here until then. And then talks about Pisces Mercury in Pisces on the 2nd. But that doesn't mean that you might not be feeling the upcoming energy of the coming week, that I think Teresa's promising that it's going to be busy astrologically. So let me scan. Gemini moon on Monday. No wonder. Okay, so like Monday for me, I was doing a lot of writing, and that does not surprise me because my natal moon is in Gemini, and the moon was in Gemini on Monday. So like that was cranking. Let's see. Moon sextile Chiron as well. That's lovely for healing conversations, but it is also a good time to clean up your writerly tasks. Moon squared Neptune on Tuesday. So that's deception, flakiness, shadiness. Then the moon was void Tuesday evening. Let's see. Wednesday was the Cancer moon. So that was a little bit emo, and you needed to be more delicate with communication. And then there was a moon square Venus at 9:50 p.m. on a Wednesday, and then a square to Jupiter. So that was like, like no, like a big like, just like don't do anything at that time. And then Venus conjunct Jupiter on Thursday. And that conjunction was in Aries, so boldness was necessary. And then Thursday, Mercury conjunct Saturn brings mental discipline to get major stuff done. So that might have been when you started to like get your groove back, possibly. So yeah, hope that helps. So once again, the AstroBiz Digest is available for purchase. The subscription is $99 for the year, and you can find it at the link in the chat. I'll go ahead and display it again. It's thetarotlady.com/AstroBiz Digest with dashes between the Astro and the Biz and the Biz and the Digest. So feel free to click on that link after after the live stream, please. but I love it. I use it all the time. I've used the Astrobiz Digest since she started doing it. And then there's also other options for you, astrologically, I believe, on her website. I think she started to do tarot updates and I think astro updates using like straight to your texts, straight to your phones, like text messaging. So that's pretty cool. Yes. Katie says, sounds like it was a messy week. And yes, that's about when things started to fall into place. Thank you. You're very, very welcome. Or thank Teresa, right? Any other questions for me? It was a very interesting week, I gotta say, because that live stream that I did last night, I basically was asked about spirit and can I get messages from the dead, from the other side? And I'm like, oh boy, okay, like how do I how do I answer this question? Um, and then I ended up getting the like, can you and will you? Um, and I was just like, I can. Let me let me explain. I can. I don't like it. But it's not because I can't do it, it's because I can. And then I asked I asked the cards today doing the deep dive. By the way, I'm like I'm so mad at Sophia about this deep dive that we're doing of the alchemical tarot. Let me grab the box. The alchemical tarot renewed fourth edition is the one that I'm using. Sophia, aka Benevolent Corvus, is using the Alchemical Tarot 6th edition. And we talk a little bit more about that in the past episode where we talk about the deck deep dive and how we were going to go about it, basically. And I think that's last week's episode, if I'm remembering correctly. So go ahead and check that out if you're wondering what the hell I'm talking about. But it is a very interesting practice, and I found that while it works for general readings, like it really wants to get specific. And I think that's the reason why that focus card is very important. And it really does help to focus the reading, like to laser in on, like, this is what you asked about. Like, you asked, like sometimes it's very much like, don't ask the question if you're not prepared for the answer or not prepared to get the answer, even if it's an answer that you may not want. So the first deep dive reading that I did with the alchemical tarot, I went with, I think I went with the, I think I went with the Fool, to like start the journey. And yeah, I can't remember exactly. It's starting to fade a little bit, but I did the focus card, and the focus card I was a Fool, I believe, because I tried to be general. Um, and then it just ended up bringing up stuff that I was just like trying to avoid talking about because it was a personal situation rather than like a general reading for the collective. So I'm just like, oh, okay, like this is how you want to play it. All right. Um, and then the next day, I was just like, okay, let me just submit to the process and be radically vulnerable and just go for it and ask my question, use the focus card, and see what the other cards that come up have to say. And I felt very called out, but it was accurate. And so the reading that I did today was based upon that situation that happened last night, where I was basically asked, like, can you connect with spirit using the tarot? And I basically explained the concise the concise answer is like, yes, but I don't like to do it because it actually works, and it kind of scares me. So I used the so because of that, and it turned out to be very accurate. And so the person reached out to me privately and said, like, thank you very much for the reading. Like, it was very accurate. And I had some questions about, like, how'd you know? How'd you know? How'd you do that? What did you see? What did you hear? What did you feel? And I was able to answer only because the reading was like very powerful. Usually I don't remember. And as time goes by, I'm likely to remember less and less, like memory starts to fade. So I wanted to be able to answer this person back while the reading was still fresh in my mind. And so I responded as best as I could with like what I remembered hearing, seeing, feeling. Um, and yeah, and then I also gave referrals to people that work as mediums, like are comfortable with the label of medium. Um, and then based on that, I I'm gonna I'll answer this in a second. I see Katie has a question. I'll answer it in a second. Let me just finish my thought. Because of that, I took that experience and I was just like, let me pull the moon card. Um, because the moon card, um, instead of the high priest, I was going to use the high priestess as the focus major arcana card. And then I was just like, well, but I'm comfortable with the high priestess. Like, hi, high priestess is on my arm, like permanently tattooed on my arm. I'm comfortable with the high priestess. So I don't want to say that I'm entirely comfortable with this. So what card can I represent for, should I be pursuing this more? Even though it is something that I'm uncomfortable with doing. And so I chose the moon card because the moon card is about intuition, but it's also a card that can represent fear as well. So I was just like, perfect. I'm going to use the moon card as the focus card. Then I'm going to shuffle my deck, pull a card for the left and the right. And wow, so if you're not familiar with what I'm talking about, you can go on to my other social media accounts and take a look at that video that I posted and the description that goes along with it. But it was basically the 9 of coins and the 2 of coins reversed. And to me, that was a sign that it's just like, yes, you need to pursue it. And yes, it's going to be uncomfortable and it's going to continue to be uncomfortable. That was the 2 of coins reversed. That was my meaning for it. But the 9 of pentacles was it could be incredibly, possibly lucrative for you and also very grounding and very powerful for you to step into that role. So, wow. So, this deep dive or this way of working with tarot to understand or better understand a tarot deck, like it's pretty awesome. And I would encourage you to go back to the episode, which was last week, deck deep dives. So you can get the full understanding of, the methodology or the system of how we're doing these readings each and every day. And you can do this with another deck that you're trying to work with. Like pull the major arcana card that best fits the situation as a focus card, pull it intentionally using the cards face up, hunt the lady, find that major arcana card that best represents the question that you're asking about, put it down in the center card, flip back over your deck, shuffle, and ask your question, pull to the left and to the right, and do the reading. Yeah. I reached out to Sophia and I'm just like, what the hell, man? And she's just like, yeah, it's brutal. Like, this deck is brutal. And I'm just like, why didn't you tell me beforehand? So Katie has a question about that. What's your thoughts on how soon a person who has passed might contact you? When my dad passed, he was around from almost a month or so after he crossed, gradually appearing less with the years. My mom passed last April, but not heard a word. I'm happy if she has crossed and is getting on with her afterlife, but I'm curious about your thoughts on it. What do you think happens and why and when people might make contact? That is a big, big question that I'm happy to try to answer. And again, I said it in the podcast episode today, and I'll say it here. Like, the views expressed in this particular live stream are mine and mine alone. Copyright Tarot by Hillary 2023. You know, not necessarily the stations. Like the views of this host might not reflect the opinions of this here station. You know, all of that verbiage. Um, so that's interesting. How soon a person would contact you after they passed. Um, I'm really trying to remember the person that has like gotten my attention the most on the other side. And that would probably be my dad. Only I think it's more about the circumstances of his passing, the fact that it was very sudden. And that, he was in the hospital for only a week. And he ended up not lingering, which I think is a blessing in disguise in some ways, because he was just, I don't know. I think that he didn't want anyone to see him like that, or see him struggling, or see him not being his physical self. Um, and this is about 5 years ago now, and I feel a little bit more comfortable talking about it. Um, but a lot of my memory from that time was a little bit of a blur, only because it was very shocking. I would say it's probably a trauma response to not remember some of the things. Um, but I don't remember really getting a sense of him until um, about a month. So my experience mirrors, I think, what you experienced. It was almost a month or so. Um, or at least he might have tried to make contact earlier than that. If he did, I don't remember, because it was just shocking. It was just a shocking situation. Um, Now regarding your mom, um, you haven't heard a word from your mom. Here's the thing, I don't necessarily know if I agree with this, but this is a theory that my mom has posited about her family, like her mother and father, because we've gone as a family to different like gallery readings before. Like we went to Lisa Williams. We also went and saw Teresa Caputo, the Long Island medium, and each time, like, our family was not like, she was getting messages from a lot of people, but like she was never drawn to us. And I think my mom goes into those things not expecting anything, because she doesn't have anything unresolved, and so she's like fine with it. And that's kind of like what she's told me about it. It's just like, what, you don't want to get a message from grandma or granddad, or and she was just like, well, I don't think we really left anything unsaid, so I'm not surprised that they don't come through. And I think that's kind of how I'm going to answer your question. It may not be it may not feel like that for you, but it might be on her spirit's end that she had nothing left to say, like everything was said. That's not to say that you can't encourage the connection and look out for different signs and symbols. And we actually do have an episode, past episode from like 3 years ago, on tarot and mediumship. So I might choose to just replay that episode, and kind of like let it play. Not tonight, but I might, revisit that concept of tarot and mediumship, because I did do that 3 years ago, and maybe my opinions on it have changed since then. Um, Now, regarding what do you think happens and why and when people might make contact? Um, I don't know. I don't know what happens. I don't think anyone really knows for sure. And I've really never had any life or like near death experiences to inform me of, a firsthand experience of what it might be like. Um, but why or when people might make contact, I have found that they normally make contact around birthdays, either that person's birthday that they're trying to make contact with. They might try and make contact um, on their birthday, or they might try and make contact on the around the date or the anniversary of their passing. All of those things I've seen before, not particularly in my personal case, but I've seen it before when I've done readings before. Um, let's see what else. There has also been other times where they've made contact when it's like a special occasion or a celebration, the birth of a child, somebody's wedding, an adoption, a family reunion, you know, or when somebody close to them is um, in hospice and possibly is going to be crossing over to join them soon. And where I really hear about that a lot. I do know a couple of people who are an end of life doulas, and a lot of them have a very common experience of having the person that is in hospice say, I see this person in the corner of the room, or I see a doorway, or I see a white light, or they're speaking that person's name. And then some people who have been sitting with that person have also sensed like an energetic shift or a presence. They might not have seen the person, but they might just feel that there's somebody else in the room with them. um so yeah, I hope that helps. Very 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 deep general question, but also, something that I feel like I can speak on a little bit. Um, I don't know. I think it's all very fascinating, and um I think that's part of the reason why we have maybe a morbid fascination with death, because we don't know for sure. And it's the uncertainty of it, it's the not knowing that we might be really afraid of, rather than anything that may or may not happen to us. Yeah, exactly. I don't know is a good answer. My experience of my father's death was similar to yours, sudden, and didn't get to fix up stuff. Mom probably had finished her journey. Thank you for your thoughts. You're welcome. You're welcome. Yeah. Um, Zuri creeps in here, by the way. Hi. Happy Friday. Happy Friday as I answer deep and existential questions. Um, but yeah. So, but I mean, like that reading from last night, and then getting all those questions this morning, and then giving myself a reading on about it has made me think about a bunch of this. And it's just like, there are there are members of or colleagues that are mediums that are probably just laughing at this right now, because it's just like as soon as you get comfortable with this, like you're gonna get on there like gangbusters. And it's just like, and I don't think I'm ever going to be entirely comfortable with it, because but I've also seen too much, experienced too much, given readings that there's no way I could have known that, there's no way you could have known that. And the way I describe true mediumship is there's no substitute for getting the feeling of that person. You know, like if you're in session with the real thing, you feel as if that person is with you. And that's not something that is easily duplicated or imitated or copied. Um, yeah. I mean, a lot of the I talk a lot about the two people that I refer um for medium readings when they like I'm always of the opinion like I'll pull cards, we'll see what happens. I'll see what I get. But then I'll refer people to my the two people that I would recommend as mediums. One is my bestie. You've seen her here in the comments sometimes in the live stream. Um and actually she might be watching the live stream right now, cuz she'll usually put it on her TV, and my kitty babies go wild for my voice. So hello. Um so that's Dylan Dilly if she comments in the chat. But I give her as a referral all the time because she's a natural medium, and I also can vouch for her because she's brought my father through, and she's brought other family members through too, my father and my uncle. And then the other person that I recommend is my friend Jake, who is an evidential medium. And the difference between a medium and an evidential medium is an evidential medium is very much like tell me something, like talking to the spirit and eliciting from the spirit, like tell me something that only you would know, only the two of you would know this. And that's what he means by evidential. Because a lot of the time spirit's message is I'm okay, I'm okay, I'm okay. And I do try to do that now when I'm trying to make contact through the tarot cards in doing reading tarot for a mediumship reading. I usually will tend to do that too, where it's just like, I don't mean to be disrespectful, but it's not enough to say, I'm okay. Like, I need a little bit more from you, like, please. And most of the time, spirit is happy to oblige that. Um, and sometimes it just happens very naturally. When do I get approached for mediumship readings? Mostly around Halloween. Um, Unsurprising, especially at the Halloween party that I do every year. There's at least one or two people that ask me about so and so pass, and I just want to know, what they think of this person or this partner or the baby or, this situation, or I just want to know that they're okay. And usually I'll give the reading and I'll look at the cards and I'll give my thoughts. And, if something else happens in there that's outside of the cards, I'll say that too. And I'll say, I'm not getting this from the cards. I just got this song stuck in my head. I think this might be for you. And then I'll say it, and then they cry, and then I know that so, but they like to, like, you don't need them. You might need the middleman at first. You might need a medium. But a lot of the time they communicate through songs on the radio. They like to mess with the electronics. They like to mess with my conference call line. That's a very specific thing that happened like 3 weeks ago when I was on the phone with one of my regular clients, and never happened before where the message just cut out. And so like she got disconnected. And so she had to call in not once, not twice, but 3 times. So fortunately I left the recording running, and I was able to send that along to her. But I was just like, you asked about it, and that's usually what will happen when I'm trying to do a mediumship reading using the cards is, stuff gets weird. And it's more of a sign not to freak you out, but just to let you know that they're there. So, good question. Any other general questions before I open it up to the mid-episode reading? Hmm? No? Yes? No? Let me have a little bit more of my uh, cherry limeade. This might be my favorite flavor so far. I got another one of the raspberry rose, because it was like 2 for $5. So I wanted to try a new flavor, but the only new flavor that was there was this one. So I ended up getting one new and one that I've already had before. So I got this one. I really like this one. There was a strawberry lemon. There was the raspberry rose. So out of all of those, I think I like this one the best. Cherry limeade. My mom actually had the strawberry lemon one in her fridge the other night when I went over, and I was just like, "Oh, do you like that? Have you tried that one before?" Um, and she hadn't, so I was just like, "I hope you like it," because I liked that flavor. It was nice. It wasn't too like it wasn't too much. It wasn't too like sometimes you have something and it's like like too sweet. None of these are too sweet. Any other questions? Give it another minute and then we'll do the mid-episode reading using the new beta feature, which is the lottery jar. Very cool, very cute. Yep, I'm definitely gurgling right now. Gurgle, gurgle, gurgle. But would you guys be interested in me revisiting the tarot and mediumship episode? I would be interested in it. I kind of want to see how my thoughts changed on it. You know, not that um my major thoughts or beliefs will change in like 3.5 years, but who knows? I might have other thoughts from 3 years ago that I've evolved. Oh, good. Getting text messages on my plans. All right, let's do the mid-episode reading, shall we? All right. So, in order to participate in the mid-episode reading, it's become very, very easy. Let's see. Let me show this here. Okay, so Katie's saying sounds like a fun revisit. Okay, cool. I will consider that. All right. So, in order to be considered for the mid-episode reading, you just have to comment in the chat. Doesn't even matter what you comment. As long as you comment in the chat, once I put the lottery jar up, and here it is, just comment in the chat to be considered for the mid-episode reading. Now, just to put it out there, only one person can win per episode. So if you are commenting, you are putting your name in there. And I'll do a 3-card reading. And if you want me to do a 3-card reading in the way that I've been doing them for the deep dive, you can also let me know and I'd be happy to do that. We do have examples of that from last week where I think both see, I told you, Jenny, doesn't matter what you comment. You're the cat in the hat. That's fine. That's great. You're in the lottery jar. I love that. I love that they created this. Hold on. There. I love that they created this little lottery jar. Makes it so much easier. Zuri, you're entered. Zuri says, I was celebrating my birthday last week, so I missed the fun. Well, I provide replays for every single episode of the live stream. So even if you can't be here live, you can still go back and watch it. Those were intense readings, if I remember correctly. Like, this deck pulls no punches. It's just like, just be careful. Just be careful what you ask, because you're going to get the answers straight between the eyes. So just know that, Jenny and Zuri, going into this, that you're in there. You're in the jar. Just like, be careful what you wish for and be careful what you ask. And I'm almost done with my cherry limeade. I'm going to have to switch over to my water. Who did we end up reading for last week? I'm going to have to look. Was it Katie? Katie, did we read you for filth last week? Was that you? I'm going to look. I know you're probably not commenting because we know how the lottery jar works now. And we don't want to throw out the baby with the bathwater. All right, so you've got 2 people in the lottery jar. I'm going to give this another 3 minutes. So let's use the counter widget too. Let's see. Countdown widget. Not this, not this, not this. All right. All right. So all you have to do to be considered for a live reading right here on the episode is comment in the chat. And the little circles up here are going to flip down into the lottery jar. And then we're going to get a winner in 3 minutes. So I am taking the time to not write anything into the chat because I don't need to be considered for my own reading, even though I know that's really fun for you all to watch when the cards come for me. But I think I'm doing that enough on my social media over the next month with this deep dive. So you can't have that. And I am going to turn down the volume so I don't blast out the volume. No, we read for Liz last week. That's it. So, Katie, you can put your name in the jar. We read for Liz last week. So you're eligible. Anyone that didn't get a reading last week, So if your name's not Liz, you can put in. So you've got another minute, and then we're going to go ahead and shake a. It's 50-50. It's 50-50 right now between Jenny and Zuri. So, all right, less than 30 seconds. Enter now or forever hold your peace until next week. Five, four, three, two, one. That's it. Time's up. Let's go ahead and get a winner. It's Jenny. It's Jenny. It's Jenny. Jenny is the winner. So Jenny, go ahead and put your question into the chat and we will pull 3 cards. And also let me know if you want your reading to be done with the alchemical tarot using the focused major arcana method. And if not, I will just go for the Radiant Rider-Waite Smith. I swear I dropped something under the bed before. And now I don't even know what it was. I have no idea what it was. Yes, exactly. Congratulations, Jenny. Okay, so Jenny's question is, I'd like to know how to foster a deeper relationship with my daughter-in-law. We get along fine, but most of it feels pretty superficial. So Jenny, do you want that with the alchemical tarot? Or do you want just 3 cards random from the Radiant Rider-Waite? It's completely up to you. Thank you, Veronica. I'm impressed by your hydration skills. Yeah, this is a 34 ounce. This is a 34 ounce glass, reinforced glass bottle from Waterdrop. Waterdrop.com is not an official sponsor of the Tarot by Hillary Livestream, but you know what? If you work for Waterdrop, get in touch with me. I'd love to. But they create water bottles and then they also actually do water drops so you can add flavor to your water so you drink more water. So this is a 34 ounce. And then my pink one that you might have seen before is a 20 ounce. So, and when you're a tarot reader and when you're an EFT tapping practitioner, you've got to drink your water. Like you have to drink your water. You're moving energy all the freaking time. You have to stay hydrated. It's also really good for the skin too. Anyway. Katie says, trying to stay silent here was like holding my breath. Stop suffocating me, Hillary. Well, you can speak freely now that the jar is open and ready to go. Um, okay, so Jenny says, random from Rider Waite, please. Cool. Will do. All right. And you know what? I might also pull another card from another deck that happens to be within reach. But I'll explain about that after this. Okay, so shuffle, shuffle, shuffle. Fostering a deeper relationship with your daughter-in-law. Here's one thought that I'm getting. Again, I'm not getting it from the cards. It's just something that popped to mind as I'm shuffling. You may want to consider who you represent to your daughter-in-law. So I think the superficial stuff, I think, is just a protection mechanism that your daughter-in-law has put in place, because you might represent someone from her past that she didn't feel particularly safe with or able to be vulnerable with. So she might have learned from that past experience or that past relationship to keep it superficial with that person in order to keep herself safe and protected. So I don't think, this is just a general impression here, general intuitive hit. I don't think it's you. I think it's who you represent to her. And now to the cards. Yeah, I do think it's more of a past hurt rather than anything that you have done. The getting along fine. I think it is that that healing that needs to be done. And I think what you can do to foster that is so the reason why I'm saying this is because I'm getting the Three of Swords, and I think it's because of past heartbreak. Even though the Three of Swords is in like the quasi future position, I think that might be a case of like not wanting to go too deep with that relationship because it might be, you know, worrying that the past repeats itself for her. I had a feeling and I was looking, okay, so Jenny says her mother is a real piece of work, Frosty. And I had a sense of that before I pulled the cards, and I was like kind of looking out for like the Empress reversed, which didn't pop up here. But I do think that it's because of that relationship with her own mother, that, you know, she wants to tread lightly because she doesn't want to be disappointed by you in the same way that her mother disappoints her. Because she seems to be like, just from the reading, it seems like um she's a very sweet girl, you know? And like, if she wasn't, like, you wouldn't be asking the question. You wouldn't be wanting to get to know her and having a deeper relationship for her. And it's really kind of unfortunate that you know, the person that should teach love and compassion and understanding happens to be very frosty or an ice queen, you know, because I don't think that's necessarily what your daughter-in-law's personality is or what her natural tendency is. Like, she wants to believe the best of everyone, and she is more warm, almost as a reflection or opposite of her mother, like knowing that she doesn't want to, like, this is the thinking about the Oscar Wilde quote where it's just like, no, like, you know, every man wants to turn into his his mother, and that's his nightmare or whatever, and it's just like, and every woman turns into their mother, like that's our nightmare. And it's a very poor paraphrasing, but it is that kind of living in fear of turning into someone that cold is part of the reason why she's put up this wall. So, Two of Pentacles is coming up reversed. Five of Wands is also coming up reversed. And then the Three of Swords is coming up upright. So that's not necessarily saying like, oh, like this is a heart card of heartbreak and there's nothing you can do about it, whatever. But it's more like you have to just have the patience, which I know you do, to, do that balancing act, that struggle of the juggle that the Two of Pentacles reversed can represent, and just have that patience and, balance out knowing that it's like, it's not you. It's not you. It really isn't you. And then you have the Five of Wands reversed, which is just like, I think it's finding ways to be one-on-one with her is going to be the way to foster the deeper relationship. Like, oh, like, oh, can I take you out to brunch? Like, just the two of us. Like, no, leave my son at home. Like, oh, I see him. I'll leave him at home. I want to like a girls' brunch, just the two of us. And I think by taking out the element of a crowd or a group, you can really start to foster that deeper relationship that you're looking for. Because I think that when the group gets together, she gets into protection mode, and she might also turn a little bit into her mother and have that frostiness come up as that protection, and it's just like, I don't think she means to do it. It's just simply, this is how she has learned to interact with the world in order to protect her heart, which is kind of sad. But I think taking out the elements of the group, because anything that happens in a group tends to heighten that energy that already exists there. So I think having or being able to do that one-on-one time with her, going out to lunch, going to a movie or going to dinner or going out shopping together or just going for a walk together one-on-one, I think would make a world of difference in helping to foster that deeper relationship. Does that make sense? Let me pull one more card. And I'm going to pull from, I think this is, I know it's a deck by Paris de Bono, the fortune teller, and I think he's in Australia, but I can't remember the name of this deck. Hold on. Let me see. It's been a while since I used it. Again, I've been cleaning a lot lately. So in the cleaning, I've been uncovering different cards that I have. Oh, I believe this is the Gypsy Tattoo card deck. So I have a sheet of paper that I printed out that I downloaded from like the Book of Face group that I was in. So let me shuffle and pull 3 cards from this deck too. So you're getting the anchor, you're getting the knife, and you're getting the goldfish. So I think that just helps to confirm some of the things that I said in the tarot reading. And I'm also going to go to the guidebook, considering it's a deck that I'm not as familiar with working. So the anchor is about stability, steady progress, being grounded, holding fast, avoiding being stubborn, and patience. And what did I just say? Patience. Have patience with this person. The knife. Knife. Ending, cutting, detachment, pain, difficulty, conflict, stabbed in the back, enemy, or protector. So again, that talks a little bit about the mother, and how I really don't think it's you. I think it's a projection of, um, you know, and also detachment, that keyword of detachment. It's just like she may come off as detached or aloof, but it's not because she is detached or aloof. It is simply because it is a protection mechanism. And then the goldfish, I think, is a really good sign. Luck, surprise, gift, talent, opportunity, abundance, flowing, money, prosperity. So I think having the goldfish come up is that opportunity to really deepen the relationship. So sorry, I didn't show any of these while I was reading them. So that's the anchor, the knife, and the goldfish. And I would also say the goldfish did come up reversed, and I don't necessarily know if this deck likes reversals. But to me, it's just like don't be surprised if your first attempts to create this kind of one-on-one time is met with a no thank you. Keep trying. Keep trying. You might have to offer several times before she finally um, you know, warms to the idea. Make sense? Let me know. I put it over here. Perfect. So Jenny says, now that I live near them, I can do that more easily and have done a few times. I'll just have to keep gently chipping away at her. LOL. So good to know it's not me. Thanks, Hillary. And I think you're very welcome. And I think you knew it wasn't you. I mean, like you immediately said where it was just like when I said projection, you immediately said her mother's a real piece of work, and I didn't want to say that, but if that was your immediate thought when I said projection, then it's just like that's probably the case. It's not you. It's not you. And it's really kind of a shame. So, I mean, I had that a little bit of that experience happen to me actually. It wasn't me that said it. It was actually my husband warned my father-in-law about my fraught relationship with my father. And he basically said, like, like when I came over to meet the parents, basically, he took my father-in-law aside and he basically said, like, Hillary doesn't speak to her father. She's estranged from him, and there's a good reason why. And just know, if she's not immediately warm with you, just give her time. And and I didn't even know that he had done that until I think maybe ooh, probably once we got engaged. I think he said that to me. I think he waited. He was just like, "Oh yeah, I told my dad. I warned him." And it's just like now it's just like it's all fine and good. Like my in-laws love me. But having that little caveat there, it's just like, "Really? You took him aside?" And he's like, "Yeah, I did, because I didn't want him to think, because my father-in-law is a pretty sociable person, so he might take offense by the frostiness." I don't know. Does that sound familiar? So it's not you. It's not you. Well, thank you once again for participating in the mid-episode reading. I hope you all enjoyed it. I do want to give you a reminder that if like tips are appreciated but never required, you can do that at paypal.me/tarot by Hillary NY. And also I do have a Venmo account. I think it's the same thing, venmo.com/tarot by Hillary NY. And I'll go ahead and drop that into into the chat if I can find it. Like, where the heck did I put that? It's easy for me to remember at the top of my head, but it's not as easy for me to have it readily available. Hold on, please. I should probably put that into my links here. Let's see. That's appointment offerings. Let's see. Ooh, I am gurgling. That prebiotic soda did the trick. Okay. Upload media. R. That's cool. All right, let's see if I can push this live. See if this works. Did it not work? What happened here? I don't need this video. Ah, there it is, right there. I don't know if it'll necessarily work. Aha, it does. So there's my PayPal. And actually, if I set this up now, I never have to set it up again. That's pretty cool. I don't know if I have an image for... No. Cool. Good. Yeah, I'm looking. I don't think I have an image for Venmo. I can do that. I can do this at another time, obviously, but just because I'm thinking about it. No, that's my PayPal. I don't need to paste that in twice. Hold on, please. Yes, I'm correct. Venmo.com/Tarot by Hillary NY. I can't push it. I can't push it live until I have an image that goes with it. Interesting. So instead, I'll just do my tiny version of my... Ooh, that's a little too tiny, though. Let's see. That's cute. I'll leave it like that for now. I can change it later. But that's a link. Venmo.com/Tarot by Hillary NY. Anyway, back to your regularly scheduled episode. But it's good to know I have that option. All right, let me take down the tip, not the tip jar, the lottery jar. I'm so glad that they created that. I know it's in beta right now, and so there's still a few little glitches to be had there. But I love that. They also have other stuff. They had, so they had days in quarantine. So I was using that widget while we were in lockdown. They have a snowfall widget, which is kind of appropriate for right now. Because it's a little, I'm not sure if it's freezing rain or sleeting right now, but it's kind of icky out, folks. It's a little bit icky out. Oh, and I just got, thank you, Jenny, for your tip. I just got the alert. Thank you so much. Again, never necessary Always appreciated, though. And also, if you're interested after watching me do that reading, in booking a reading for yourself, longer, one-on-one, private, tarotbyhillary.com. Many different options available: Zoom, phone, Skype, email, and also in person if you happen to be in my geographic area. But it works even if you're halfway across the world. Actually, I have to check in with my client in Riyadh, because I have a client that is in Riyadh, and the time zone difference is quite substantial. So I'll try to work it out whether time zones like work out. But sometimes she likes to book her reading at 2:30 a.m. her time. I'm like, are you sure about, like, we can plan something out? And she's like, no, it's fine. Like, I look forward to it. It's like, I'm like, okay, all right. So if I can read for someone in Australia or Riyadh, like, I could certainly read for you. So anyway, any other like general questions that I can answer before we move into the weekend forecast, which is a general one card reading for everybody to go into the weekend? I am gurgling something fierce, so this soda worked. I think I need a new bag for these cards though, because they're like, it's like, I don't know if it's necessarily a felt bag, but it's just like, it's kind of pilling little blue fuzz balls. So I don't know if I like that very much. Might also be gurgling because I'm hungry as well. Oh, good. Oh, good. I'm so happy. Pizza. Oh, I love when Mr. Tarot by Hillary anticipates my needs before I even ask. That's actually something that we wrote in our vows as like a no-no, because I tend to be a mind reader, which is not necessarily something that goes along with every psychic or with every tarot reader. But I'm pretty good at picking up on other people's thoughts. Um, and so we had to write it into our vows, that I allow him to express himself in the ways that he wants to, and basically not read his mind. Um, so, but sometimes, occasionally, he'll do the other way around and he'll anticipate my need without me having to say anything, which is pretty nice, I think. So, no other general questions. Are we ready for the weekend forecast? If so, give me a hell yeah in the chat. And also, if you have any requests for what to be read from, I'm probably going to go for the Work Your Light deck again, though I could be convinced to go for another one. I know we have some regulars in here that like what they like. Ooh, I'm organizing my makeup as well. Goodness knows I have a lot of that to organize. All right. Oh, that's an easy request, Jenny. We will probably do that next for this coming Friday then. I'd like to hear more about bibliomancy one Friday. I can definitely do that. Actually, I've been doing a lot of bibliomancy on my podcast, trying to wrap up the episodes of the podcast with bibliomancy from my book, How to Read Tarot. So this week, I think I talked a little bit about the major arcana, and I assigned homework in the episode. So you are going to want to check that out. But if you want to talk about bibliomancy more in depth, we can totally do that. Thank you for the suggestion. All right, let's see. Weekend forecast. Crawler. The other thing about hydration, by the way, especially, like being an admirer of my hydration, when you start to increase your water intake, you are going to be needing to go to the restroom a lot more frequently, until your body starts to get used to that level of water intake. And so, yeah, I'm doing a little bit of the pee pee dance right now. So I'm going to choose. Oh, geez. Sorry, Katie. I've been getting pizza vibes from you, Hillary, for the last 20 minutes. You've been broadcasting your hunger well. Oops. Oopsie. Sometimes I need to be a little bit more aware of my energy, instead of, broadcasting. And that's actually kind of how I inception my husband. It's usually pizza or sushi. I apparently have a sushi face. I will make a fit. Will, do the normal marital. Well, what do you want for dinner? What do you want for dinner? And she's like, oh my God. And I'm thinking about a Sarah Scribbles cartoon where it's just like, what do you want for dinner? What do you want for dinner? What do you want for dinner? And then two skeletons sitting at the table, and it's just like, and then they both died. That's a good visual about that conversation. But then I'll smile at him, like, and he's like, we're not getting sushi again. And I'm just like, damn it. I might have a pizza face as well, but sometimes I'll like, woo, woo, woo. Anyway, let us go with the Work Your Light Oracle cards, because it is within reach and I'm hungry. I want to go eat. And the bottom card of the deck is yes. We're not counting this as the weekend forecast. Just say yes. I think that's more in line with just say yes to pizza. Just say yes to it. Just go with it. All right. What do we need to know for the weekend? Ooh, Unbound. Unbound, releasing soul patterns, contracts, and past lives. This is one of the deeper cards I've seen in this particular deck. There you go. There's the imagery. It's really beautiful, actually. And let's see, where is that? Unbound is an activation card. Suit 4 activation card. Unbound 94. Page 94. Okay. Yes, say yes to pizza. Say yes to sushi. Say yes to all of it. Just say yes, right? All right. Unbound. It is time to release old soul stories that have been playing out in your life. They are coming up to be healed. There has never been a safer time to clear these patterns than right now. Take a look at patterns in your life that you are ready to release. And you can do that through tapping or other somatic practices. I like tapping. Ancient vows and contracts that your soul made that have an expiration date. It could be a vow of silence or chastity or poverty. It is time to unwind from them. This is the life in which you free yourself from trauma of lives past. What old ways of being have an expiry date? When you name them, you claim them, and they stop holding power over you. When acknowledging these old patterns, it's also important to acknowledge how they have served you up until now. That's secondary benefits, y'all. What are the benefits that you're receiving by not changing? For example, a soul pattern of playing small caused by a soul fear of being seen or sharing your voice would have served you by keeping you safe. Ooh. You want to see me get called out? This is me getting called out right now. In order to grow, you now need to soften by receiving and calling in support. It is time to unbind from the old ways of being that are no longer sustainable. So this is the weekend forecast. It might take longer than a weekend to do this. So this is the activation. Hold the card on your heart and say, so I'm going to go ahead and hold it right here on my heart and say, I release all soul stories, vows, contracts, and patterns that are no longer aligned with who I came here to be in the present time. I carry the lessons, growth, and gifts, but I no longer choose to live the same story. May I be unbound, forever unbound. Sometimes with clients, I'll pull these cards, maybe not this specific card, but some of the activation cards, and I'll make them do it. Even if they're not physically in front of me, I will tell them, like, imagine that this card is held to your chest and put your hand to your chest and repeat after me. And sometimes I'll tell them to do it more than once. So I'm going to have to use this card as a bookmark for the Work Your Light activation because I have a feeling that I'm going to be needing to do that this weekend. And if you happen to have this deck in your deck library, Work Your Light Oracle deck by Rebecca Campbell with artwork by Danielle Noel, I would encourage you to go ahead and do the activation this weekend yourself. And if you don't, you can go back to the replay that will be available, put your hand to your heart, and repeat after me. And maybe do tapping on it too. You can always tap it in. So I hear the door. So that is Mr. Tarot by Hillary coming home to pick me up. So I think that is perfect timing. I thank you all so much for watching. Katie's saying that's calling me out too. I hear ya. I hear ya. I'm not a huge fan of the call outs, but they seem to echo, my experience, your experience. So it makes it even more meaningful, right? All right. Thank you all so much for watching. I appreciate it more than I can say. And we do this every Friday night, 6:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. And next week, we might be doing some bibliomancy because Jenny requested it. Thank you all so much for watching. Again, I am Hillary, professional tarot reader, demystifying the mystical and putting you in touch with the most beautiful of gifts, your own intuition. Because yes, my friends, don't argue with me. You have intuition. Bye.